Ady has been an incredible advocate for years, someone who understands the importance of getting people rallied in a fight, pushing for what we believe in. But this is also a personal firsthand story for Ady. It's a story about his little boy Carl, about his wife Rachel, and about Ady's determination that he's going to use every day that he has to make change in America, to make this a better world for all of them and for all of us. Hi, how are you? Hello, Ady.
So wonderful to have you here.
It's wonderful to be here with you.
He wanted to show you, before you guys chat, a copy of his book. It's an advanced copy. So
Oh, this is terrific. So when will it be out publicly?
It's going to be out on September 10th.
So soon?
Yeah, so soon. This is just sort of a small selection of all the things he does every day to try to feel more comfortable, to slow down the progression of the disease as much as possible. We just got this coverage from our insurance for 4 hours a day of home health aides, and he has almost 24-hour care. You know, it's such a small dent in that expense, which is really the main thing that we're facing right now.
So Ady's supposed to get 4 hours of help a day.
Right.
And in effect, if he didn't have family, to be left on his own?
I think what a lot of people do is end up moving into a facility just because this is the part that's so expensive. And so then you can't be around your family. You can't really have any kind of independent life.
How much time would you estimate that you spend either arguing with the insurance company or talking to the doctors about how to get them to argue with the insurance company?
It's several hours a week on
Someone's
a good week.
Got to be
exactly.
on the phone and trying
Yeah.
to make this happen. I think about when we talk about cost, certainly there's financial cost and there's a lot of it. And cost that means if you can't find a way to cover it, you can't get the care you need. But I also think of it in terms of cost. This is time you should be spending with Ady.
Yeah.
This is time you should be spending with Carl. Ady has been so determined, not just to do his best for you and for Carl and for the new baby on the way, but to do his best to make his story heard so that it makes a difference for people everywhere else in this country. Hi, Ady.
Carl, come say hi to Elizabeth Warren.
Hey, Carl. Come on out.
Do you want to show some of your trucks?
Do you have some cool trucks now? Show me your trucks. Look at those. So what kind of a truck is that?
Fire
A fire engine. And how about this one?
engine.
Fire engine. And what about this one?
Double.
A double-decker bus. Oh, Carl's growing fast.
He is the light of our lives.
Yes.
Senator Warren, thank you for making the trip to my home for this interview. We have some delicious tacos on the way for you, assuming that your answers in this interview are satisfactory.
Good. Well, I will do my best, but what's with Senator Warren? We've been Ady and Elizabeth for a long, long time.
Yes, you're right. In my previous life, before ALS and before President Trump, my proudest professional accomplishment was partnering with you on trying to reshape the Federal Reserve.
Thank you, Ady. You're an inspiration.
On to healthcare. We all agree that the healthcare system is in crisis. People are cutting pills in half because they cannot afford them. They are turning to GoFundMe when insurance companies deny necessary care, and tens of millions still have no health insurance coverage at all. You are a supporter of a Medicare for all single-payer system that makes the private insurance industry irrelevant, and phases everybody into Medicare. Why is that approach better than the others on the table?
I think of this as about our values. Healthcare is a basic human right. What we're trying to do is to make sure everyone's covered at the lowest possible cost. And that's Medicare for all. Look at the business model of giant insurance companies. Take in as much money as you can in premiums and pay out as little as possible in healthcare coverage. Last year, they sucked $23 billion out of the healthcare industry. $23 billion in profits, and how do they earn every dollar of those profits? By saying no, by having people fill out forms, by having people get on the phone and have to argue, by raising co-pays. The Republicans did a big study. They really wanted to prove how expensive Medicare for All would be, and what they ended up proving was that Medicare for All is a less expensive system than our current conglomeration of Medicare, private insurance, and people without any coverage at all.
And the only way to really reduce the administrative and billing costs is to move to a single-payer system?
Yes, I think that's right. It's also about the human cost. It's about dollars, but it's also about what it means that Rachel's got to spend her time on the phone, that you have to go online to ask friends and family and strangers to help cover medical costs when you have good insurance. That's the irony here.
Earlier during this presidential campaign, you were criticized by some advocates for not talking about Medicare for All, and for not being clear about whether you would eliminate private health insurance. You have been much more full-throated lately. My observation is that your philosophical approach to a system failure is generally not to dramatically expand the size of the public sector, but to instead heavily regulate private sector actors and beat down their greed. Was that the source of your initial hesitation on the question of getting rid of private insurance, or was it something else?
No, I think it was more about focused on transition than on endpoint. But there are areas where markets just don't work. And a big part of healthcare is one of those. So the idea that we'd get a couple of regulations in place and then it'll all sort itself out, it's just not true with healthcare. This whole notion that when your baby is sick, that somehow there's a financial decision that needs to be made at the core of that. I get financial decisions over whether you're gonna be able to get a new car or what it looks like, but not financial decisions at the heart of basic health care. Medicare for All, it's about a relationship that all of us as Americans have to each other.
Senator, since my diagnosis, I have been thinking a lot about my legacy. I hope that people in my life remember me as someone who advanced the cause of justice. How do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as someone who made it better, and made it better not just for the folks at the top, made it better for everyone. And I believe that the best country we can be is a country that acknowledges that worth and lines our policies up and our investments up so everybody gets a chance. That's why I'm here.
Senator, thank you so much for being here.
You're such an inspiration. Thank you. All right? You make Carl proud.